can be traded. My heart's have been spaded. I'm not too prideful to up and leave. You've been on complacent. The tides have been changing. Love is just patience and for you.
What's up, bookish babes? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to recommend you guys some of my favorite thriller books. I know y'all been hearing me go on and on and on about how I am not a thriller girl, but I think I'm in my thriller girl era. I actually enjoy reading thrillers now. Like, I'm not as scared as I used to be. Now, you still can't get me to watch no scary movie. Yeah, that one thing that's not gonna change. I just cannot graphically, visually see somebody getting slaughtered on TV, because then that's just too real for me. That is too real for me. I can't, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I cannot do it. I will not do it, and ain't nobody gonna convince me to do it. Now, if you want to waste your money taking me to see a scary movie, then we can do that. I will go with you because I'm that type of friend. I will go with you, but my eyes gonna be closed the whole time. So I just want you to know that I'm gonna hear it. I ain't gonna see it, but I'm gonna hear it. But I have a few books here that I've read and I actually enjoyed. Which after I read I think after I read Daisy Darker by Alex Feeney, after I read this book right here, I was like, yeah, okay. Maybe I'm into the books and not the movie. So I read this. I actually enjoyed this book. It's basically about this girl whose name is Daisy Darker, and her family lives on this estranged, well, not estranged. This little, what is it? It's like an island where it's like a tiny island. Once the tide comes in, like, y'all can't go nowhere for the next 8 hours. Yeah, you can't go nowhere for the next 8 hours. And they was there for their grandma. Something was going on with their grandma. I think their birthday party. Yeah, their Nana 80th birthday party. They was there for their Nana 80th birthday party, and the whole family was visiting. And every hour on the hour, one of them would end up dead, and they could not figure out for the life of them who was doing it and what was going on, because they thought it was just immediate family in the house. And the ending of it took me by surprise, because I was totally not expecting what happened to have happened, or what was going on. I just didn't, y'all. I really enjoyed this book. This book took me for a loop. I actually was reading this while I had to take my son to the hospital because something was wrong with him. Something always wrong with these children. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Something always wrong with him. I don't even remember what was wrong with him. I think he was having head. Oh, I was getting his head checked because he keeps having random migraines. So I took him there, and I was reading this, and the lady in the hospital was like, "Hey, I just finished." She was a nurse, and she was like, "I just finished reading that." And I asked her, like, "Well, did you enjoy it?" Because I think I was like 100 pages in, and she was like, "Yeah." And y'all, enjoyed this book. That's Daisy Darker by Alice Finney. She has a book called Rock Paper Scissors. I really did enjoy that. I didn't like that book like that, but then again, that's when I was adamant about me not liking thrillers. Oh, that could have played a part. Then we're gonna be seeing the first mystery thriller I ever read. Like, first of all, the first mystery thriller I ever read, and the first book that I've ever owned outside of a self help book, and that is The Silent Patience by Alex. You see his last name. Um, I was sitting at home one day. I'm gonna paint a picture. I was sitting at home one day, and I was like, I want to read other books besides self-help books, because apparently the self-help books wasn't helping me as much. So I hopped on TikTok one day, and I seen a YouTuber that I was actually enjoying. I enjoy watching, Natural Nisi, and she had this book on the plane, and I was like, let me get that book a try, y'all. It's about this lady who comes home one day and shoots her husband 5 times and then just stops speaking. And she ends up in this, I guess, the psychiatric ward or a hospital or facility or whatever you want to call it. Um, and this, what did you call them? I think it's a therapist. Yeah, criminal psychotherapist or whatever guy was like, I bet I can get her to talk. I bet I can get her. First of all, I was not expecting the ending of this book. the way that my mouth fell open when I got to the end, I was completely thrown off because I was like, what the hell? Like, I'm sorry, y'all, for cursing, but if your little one's around, I'm sorry. But I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, that could not have been what it. Y'all, if you haven't read Silent Patient, please read Silent Patient. It was so good. This was so good. So good. Then I think around that time, probably like a couple months or so passed, I end up reading The Housemaid and The Housemaid Secrets. Well, not at the same time, but they're by the same author, Freddie McFadden. Um, I read The Housemaid and I became instantly obsessed with Millie. It's about this girl who starts cleaning the house for, why was I about to say Dean and Sam Winchester? I don't know why. I don't even watch Supernatural. My fiance watched Supernatural and he's obsessed with that show. But she ends up cleaning the house for the Winchester. It's a lot of stuff going on. She ends up being put in the attic. I guess she was like it's an attic room where the lock is on the outside of the door instead of the inside. She didn't know what was going on. When you find out, I first of all, I thought the wife was crazy. The way that I was so gaslighted in this book, I didn't even think about. I never thought about how gaslit I was while reading this book because I totally thought the wife was crazy. I'm not even gonna lie. I thought the wife was insane. I thought the guy, the whatever, the gardener, I thought he was crazy too. I thought everybody was crazy except for the person that was actually crazy. I was so obsessed with this book that I just could not wait to dive into the next one. When this book finally released, I got my hands on it. I read it immediately. I read it immediately. She has another book coming out to this series called The Housemaid is Watching. I cannot wait to dive into that book and read that book because I'm actually obsessed with Millie. I love Millie. Like I just knew after this I finished this book, I was like, this cannot be the last book in this series because it was too good. Like it was too good. If you haven't read any Freedom McFadden books, I say start with The Housemaid because a lot of people either love her writing or hate her writing. I have a few books of hers that I kind of like, love, but don't you we have a love-hate relationship here with her. I'm sorry about the light and darkness because it's about to rain outside and I'm using natural light. I cannot find my clip-on light right now, so I'm sorry about that, guys, with the fluctuating of light. But if you want to start with a book, I say start with The Housemaid by her because once you dive into this book, you're not gonna want to go back. Then well, The Teacher by Freedom McFadden as well. It's about this girl, what is her name? Addie and Eve. Eve is a teacher, Addie is a student. The teacher, like, one thing I noticed about this book, it touched on a crazy topic where this girl, is it on the back? Because I don't want to ruin it. Yeah, where this girl Addie was accused of having a affair with her teacher, and they were both adamant like that's not what happened, that was not what going on. And you know what, it never said if it happened or not, but yeah, the ending of this book, the ending, the calling the kettle black is, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Read it. I enjoyed it. The pot calling the kettle black, and it just hit my brain. Like I had so much to say about this book when I read it. Like the pot calling the kettle black. That's it. That's all. Now, with Lisa Jewell's books, we're gonna just say her books are mystery based, and they're going to make you feel uncomfortable. So I'm gonna just go ahead and put that out there. Her topics have you feeling so uncomfortable while reading it, like you feel dirty when you're done. And this one is about this girl named Ellie Mack. First of all, I picked up this book because the girl and I have the same last name. That would make me start reading this book. But it's about this girl named Ellie Mack who goes missing. And then a couple years later, this little girl pop up that looks exactly like the girl. And her mom is just so baffled because she's trying to figure out what's going on. Why does the girl look like her daughter? The premise of this book, y'all, it's gonna make you feel. It's just read it at your own discretion. But a lot of people say that book make them feel dirty at the reading, and I was when I got to the part where it tells what was happening to her and what happened to her while she was missing, I was just like, okay, so why am I reading this? Like, why am I reading this? But I had to see it through. I had to see it through. Yeah. And another book by her is None of This Is True. Once again, one of those books that will have you very much wondering what's going on and why you're reading this. It's about this lady named who is celebrating. Her name is Alex and Josie. Yeah, Alex and Josie. They're celebrating their 40th birthday, 45th birthday at this restaurant, and I think is it Josie. One of them, yeah, it's Alice. Okay, Alice is a podcaster, and she has this very famous podcast. And Josie wanted to her like, "Hey, how about you make a podcast series about me and my life? Like, it would bring in viewers. It's very interesting, and interesting her life was. Interesting her life was. This is another book that gaslit the crap out of me, and I was on one side until I realized what was really going on, and I quickly switched up. Not even gonna lie to you, I switched up fast because I was just like, that is. I thought so. I thought something totally different from what was going on that happened. Like I said, yeah. Now we're gonna go to the book that I'm always ranting and raving to you guys about when it comes to thriller books, where people was very confused as to how I keep saying I don't read thrillers, but this is like one of my top favorite books, and that is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I am absolutely obsessed with this book. If this book reads like a movie, like it's one of those books that if it becomes a movie, it'll be one of my favorite thriller movies, mystery thriller movies, because well, it'll be my only favorite mystery thriller movie because I don't watch scary movies. But this right here is so good. 5 out of 5. If you haven't read this book, read this book. I started deep diving into Riley Sager books after that, which brings us to the next one, which is The Only One Left. This is about this girl who her entire family was murdered, and she was the only one left, and everyone was convinced that she did it, and she was living in this house on top of this stack of rocks. Y'all, amazing book. I love Riley Sager. He will forever be one of my favorite authors in the mystery thriller era. Him and Freeman McFadden. So yeah, but those are all the mystery thriller books I have to recommend to you guys. If you guys have any books that you want to recommend to me in the comments down below, do so. I will be happy to read those books because, like I said, I'm just getting in my mystery thriller era. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next video.
I'm calling bullshit. Say you got it, but you ain't got nothing. Bad bitches don't